Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a treat today. We have Kristin Mason back on the show, and she's the owner of Farm-Based Counseling Services at Reining Hope Counseling Services, based out of Morgan, Vermont. And today, she joins us live, not only on the podcast, but on the Zoomcast, and she's actually live in the barn with her beautiful babies. And I believe this is Amber, one of her horses that she's going to introduce first. I'm so honored and thrilled that you made it to the barn. How are you?
I know. It only took us 4 tries, right? I'm good. Happy New Year.
Oh, Happy New Year to you and your beautiful baby. And for those that you don't know, horses are beautiful animals, but they also have amazing healing properties and modalities, which, of course, Kristin's going to tell us a little bit about what Reining Hope is to start before she introduces beautiful Amber.
Mm-hmm. So I do equine-assisted psychotherapy, which involves, it's basically counseling, but I happen to use, or not use, but work with my partners, horses. And I do nature-based also counseling. And so I thought, for our last one here, maybe, I'd bring you out to the barn, and I'm all bundled up because it is blowing like nobody's business up here in northern Vermont. So we're getting whatever, nor'easter or something. So, but I figured it's warm in the barn. Actually, I'll probably shed my vest in a little bit. But yeah, this is what I do. And I'm at the tail end of my few days off for the holidays. So this is a great way to end it.
Oh, my goodness. Beautiful. What's the weather there right now?
Well, the wind's probably 25 miles an hour. It's snowing, but you can't tell it's accumulating because we're on the top of a hill. So it's just blowing like crazy out there. But I have the indoor, which is behind me. You can see where the door's open back there. Mm-hmm. So I have access. My horses have all been out in the arena and played around and gotten their exercise with their paddock friends. And so, they're pretty happy.
Beautiful. Well, first, how can we contact you? Let's remind everyone, and then we'll get started on introducing Amber and going into some more detail of what you do and a little tour of everything, because I get to see it today.
Yes, absolutely. You can either email me, which is probably the best way to do it, is KRIS12M as in Mary, ASE @gmail.com. You can also leave a message at the barn if you want, 802-895-9166.
Perfect. And tell us a little bit about Amber and what it is that you do. This is great.
So Amber is one of my, all my horses are basically in their teens or 20s. So I've got a couple younger ones. Reddy's right next to me, and that's her friend. But Amber came to me when I opened the barn, December 8th, 2012. She was 8, so she's now 20 going on 21, and she's a Morgan. Mm-hmm. She's a Palomino in color, and she's a chocolate Palomino, which means she gets actually darker in the summertime.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she's got wicked dapples. I don't know if she's so fuzzy right now. Here, I'll take her for a little walk.
Oh, my goodness.
So she's got little dapples, and her friend Reddy's right there.
Oh, hello. We are really live from the barn today. This is amazing. Now, Amber, you mentioned, when your clients and your friends come in, right, they're kind of drawn to one of the animals or vice versa. That's so unique. I got goosebumps now. So normally, who is Amber working with a lot of times? Does she help with a lot of children? Tell me Amber's demeanor.
Yeah, pretty much. She actually does tricks. She's a trickster. I didn't know it until I got her. We were playing around in the arena, and I have like these narrow holes that you put between pallets. Mm-hmm. So they're flat on both ends, but round on the sides. And there was one out in the arena, and she started doing, like it was a balance beam or something. She's walking across it. That's one of her things. She can climb stairs and, perch on a mounting block. She also does airs above the ground, I call it, where she goes up in the air and does a little tee off. So she's very calm. She is, when you ride her, you don't need much leg though, because she likes to go. Mm-hmm. And she's a mare, but she doesn't act like a mare. Sometimes mares can be very kind of crabby, to be honest with you, but she's getting closer. No, you're not crabby, are you? No. And when they lick and chew like that, they're just releasing and relaxing. Oh yeah. Yeah. She's showing her your trickster side. So, but she's very gentle with kids. Stands very still when grooming and everything. And then she challenges people that need to be challenged. So she's really kind of cool. And interestingly enough, I was trying to decide which horse to work with today, and she came to me.
See?
So here we are.
Wow. So, what did you want to share with us here that you're in the barn? What other information? There's a lot to the work that you do and the people that you're helping.
Yes, there is. And actually, I was going to actually show you a little bit of my energy work,
Sure.
how I do that. And I use pendulum. So I balance chakras on horses, but it can also work with people as well. So I was going to do a little demo of that, but we can talk while we're doing it because I've
Sure.
done it so many times that, and I'll kind of explain what I'm doing. Actually, I'm going to take the thing off because I'm like sweating. It's like it stays 40 degrees in my barn, like it's not heated either. Um, and some of what I do with my clients that want to do it
Okay.
is, when you have the relationship with a horse, sometimes you have to do that connection first. So that can happen in the arena, which I take you out there, but it's very loud right now because of the wind. Or you can do it with grooming, or you can do it with what I'm going to do and just kind of put hands on and connect with her.
Okay.
So you might see licking and chewing. The other thing with the pendulums is that I can tell if her chakras, just like people, you got the third eye and the crown and the line, 7 of them, just like people. So with the pendulum, it helps me understand whether the chakras are open or not.
Okay.
So the first thing I do is I have to open her meridians. Everybody does this differently. This is the way I do it. It's the way that it just came to me. I really wasn't even taught other than opening how to open them. You always got to remember to close them afterwards, though. So I start with the corner of the eye, and I just bring my hands with intention down her back and down her back leg to the ground.
Okay.
And I do it twice on this side. So I start with that, just kind of open things up.
Okay.
And you might see nothing at first, but then you might start seeing her lick and chew as it's opening. And then I go down and down her front twice. This is the way I do it. And then I'll do the same thing on the other side. So Amber, she's built to ride, she's awesome riding bareback. Can you back up a little at the end of your rope here? Because she's kind of round. Her and my other Morgan. Can you hear me if I'm way over here?
Yeah, I hear you. It's a little hard.
Okay. Her and my other Morgan have thyroid issues and Cushing, so I have to actually give them medication. So in order to keep them healthy, so you'll notice she's really super fuzzy.
Okay.
But by giving her medication, she'll shed out easier in the summertime. So she gets a thick coat fast, but by giving her the medication, she'll shed out properly for the spring.
Wow.
All right.
Oh.
All my other horses are just like eating right now. Sometimes they go silent. I've done this in a barn before where all the other horses just stop eating. I think my horses are just used to me doing it. So I use a pendulum, and the first thing, I'll just bring it closer. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit, but
it's just a clear one, and it has them.
Oh, yeah, Kristin, you're breaking up a little bit. Just so you know, the internet's a little sketchy out there. Yeah, you're breaking up just a little bit. I heard about the pendulum. I saw, but it was like freezing.
Okay. Is that better?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
I'm trying not to talk so I don't interrupt you. Wish it, dream it, do it. Go for it.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I know it's out in the barn, so. Anyways, so before you use the pendulum, you have to hold it. You have to be one with it. You have to know what your own yeses and nos are. Those will never change, no matter what pendulum you're using. So, when I'm doing the chakras, I don't have to be like right on top of her in the spot. Like when I'm doing her third eye here, I don't have to have it up there. I just need to hold it and ask if her chakra is open or not.
Wow.
And I'll try to do it so you can see it.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask. If it does nothing, that means maybe.
Okay.
And so I have to say, can you help me open up this chakra, please? And then it will, after I get through checking them all, then I go back and I'll say, please help me open these chakras. And it will do whatever it does. And then it will stop when it's done. So her third eye, I can do this fast because I've done it 100 times, maybe open. Right now it's jiggling. My hand's perfectly still and it's jiggling a little bit.
I see.
Kind of vibrating.
Uh-huh.
So that means probably locked up, probably not open. So now her crown. And I have to do this with my horses every now and then. So I'm going to ask, is your crown chakra open? Yes or no? And she'll be licking and chewing. Probably not.
Okay.
Now is her throat. Next one, throat. Hi. Is your throat chakra open? Probably not.
She's camera shy.
She's like,
well, it could be very awkward. There's a strange woman in the barn on a phone. That's something that is she used to seeing people on a screen,
no,
wondering what mommy's doing. Okay.
This is the first time.
She could be
nervous.
This
is the first time she's done this.
Okay.
So she's curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, her throat chakra is probably not open. Heart doing nothing, closed, or plexus. So she's basically locked right up. So what I do next is I'm going to connect. So we can talk while I'm connecting chakras. Because what I'm going to do next is I put my hand
on
the first two chakras, and I wait for her to release, meaning licking, chewing, yawning, farting, whatever, and she might even fall asleep. So these kinds of hands-on things. I also do sometimes when I'm doing my counseling, I'll do some massage, show people how to do massage on horses. And that's also a nice way to connect, when you're grooming and
Hi, Amber. What a good girl.
Any way that you can do like hands-on so that your connection with the horse is there, right? Because then it's like a trust building, just with like people. You try to build the trust first, right? Because I wouldn't just kind of throw them together without them knowing each other, right? It's if somebody's getting a new horse, for example, you have to have some kind of connection. Just because it's pretty or free or whatever does not mean that it's the right horse for you, right? You have to really have that connection. When people are getting new horses, I always say, go back a couple times, go back and so something's happening, and so she's like figuring it out. And what happens with my hands, it gets caught underneath, and I have to swipe it, and you always swipe it toward water with intention. So so if somebody's getting a new horse. One of my friends was looking for a new horse, and she was online. It's really hard to get a horse online because you don't know the background. So you have to really kind of talk. She was really lucky because she talked to the owner a lot, got a lot of pictures, a lot of videos of this horse, and it was in Massachusetts. So we went, it was like 3 years ago, actually, the day after Thanksgiving, that we went and picked him up in Massachusetts. And that's a long way to go to get a horse you haven't seen yet. So she was not going with the intention of bringing him home, but we did bring the trailer just in case. So she spent some time with him at the place in Massachusetts.
Wow.
That way, and she knew, she knew the connection right away. That doesn't always happen, though. So kind of like people, when you kind of connect with new friends, you don't know that you're going to connect for a while, right?
Yeah.
I don't know about her, but I'm getting hot.
All right.
I might have to shed another layer.
I'm just trying to keep it quiet. I don't want to interfere, so I'm listening, but I don't want to upset her more if she's nervous. So I'm shaking my head a lot.
No, she's definitely not. She actually moved forward. She's definitely not.
Good.
If she was nervous, she'd be pacing around and wanting to leave.
She's like, yep,
right?
yeah. Good. So Jill's a nice friend here on camera. Thank you.
There. So she's licking and chewing. So that means that I can go to the next one. Oh my gosh, I should have worn less clothes.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of moving.
Hi. What do you think? She's such a good girl. Anyway, so she does a lot of groundwork. She's actually really good. Like my other Morgan, Spike, she's very good about connecting on the ground. So if the wind wasn't blowing like heck, we can go in the arena, but you wouldn't be able to hear anything, literally. But we would free lunge, and we would wait for her to give us a sign, like an ear, because when they turn their ears, they're like right now, her ears, you'll notice they're forward toward you when you talk because she's paying attention to you. They can listen both sides because they're prey animals, so they pay attention to what's around them at all times. She agrees.
I see. Wow.
Good girl.
Aw,
So body language, I guess, is a good lesson for body language too. Because
yeah.
when I'm working with clients, I not only listen to them, what they're saying, but I also watch their body language. Because they could be saying something, but their body language is telling me something different. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So she's blinking. That's another
Mm-hmm.
way of blinking. And I'm fortunate because, having the indoor arena, I can do this year round, which is a lot of people that, work with animals or horses, especially up here in the Northeast Kingdom. I mean, it's expensive and we all don't have indoor arenas. And that's one of the things I feel really fortunate about is that my arena is attached to my barn. So if we want to do grooming inside and then take the horses out and either ride them or work with them on the ground, it's right there. So I feel very blessed with that.
Aw.
So she's enjoying it a lot, aren't you? Yeah.
Mommy and me time.
Yeah, I know. Good girl. So you said, did you say your girls like horses? Here, I can pull you closer.
I have two boys. I have a 7 and 9-year-old. They've never. I mean, they did horseback riding like one time. No, my niece, she's into horseback riding, but I love everyone. Oh my God, they're so. My aunt used to have a horse, and she moved out to like she's in, was it Langhorne, Pennsylvania? She's in Amish Town, Pennsylvania, actually. But she loves her horses. Murphy. She actually just sold him, but then her husband, my uncle, died. But she used to have Murphy for a long time. And when I used to visit her at the barn, it's so calming.
Yeah, yeah. I love that name, Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard though to I don't know how long she had them, but
Oh, she had a horse for like 10 years. Used to be out here on Long Island, and then she had it at another stable. And yeah, she never had it on her own property, but
yeah.
it's a lot of work.
Well, it is, but it's also hard to have to
Let it go.
sell them or whatever
Mm-hmm.
because of situations. And I've actually worked with some people who have had to part with their animals, whether it be it's time to release them to heaven
Yeah.
or time to move on and they can't take them where. And that's huge. It's very anxiety provoking for some people. It's
Mm-hmm.
depressing. It can be depressing and grief and loss, right? I mean, even if they're alive and they're going to somewhere else, that there's a lot of processing with that. So
Yeah.
especially 10 years is a long time. A year with a horse is a long time because you have to, we know you have to take care of them 24/7. There's no getting around it.
Yeah.
So she's being super good.
Aw.
And actually, you see her getting sleepy. Sometimes they get very sleepy when doing this. It's like when you have a massage
Uh-huh.
or energy work on yourself. You know
Wow.
how many times, I don't know about you, but I fall asleep. Like if someone's working on me, I
Yep.
don't care. Like I probably drool too, laying face down.
Always. Definitely. I love
I'm
it.
just
So true.
so,
Yep.
oh yeah, do you agree, Amber? She's agreeing with us a lot too. Oh, girl.
Aw.
I know it's kind of boring to watch, but there's a
No,
lot of things
no.
going on, and her just standing here and relaxing. I mean, but she trusts me too. So, I mean, I put the thing up. She'd never seen it before. I brought her out her first stall. I was doing some brushing before you got on, and we were connecting.
Aw.
If she was upset about it, I would have
She
said no, but yeah. She just heard some noise out there.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the reason why you pay attention to your animal, because she may be telling me something that I don't know yet because she knows. They've had that natural instinct, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when I go riding, we've had a lot of turkeys around the farm lately. So we see tracks and whatnot. And I pay attention. If my horse does not want to go down a trail, I do not make them, because 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be on the ground if I do, if I
Yeah.
force them into anything, right? And it's just like people too, where they have to do things at their own pace.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, for example, if you're working with a person that's had some trauma, we talked about that before, you can't force the issue, especially with kids, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they don't fully understand what has happened based on the trauma. They have to kind of grow up a little bit. Their
Yeah.
brains have to process it, and they have to be ready. So, therapy, sometimes people are like, well, am I going to have to be in therapy for the rest of my life? It's like, no, but you're going to do it at your own pace, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
going to be you're going to let me know when you're ready to cut back or move on. And that's a hard thing to convey to parents, because sometimes parents are like wanting you to fix their children, even though that's not their intention. They want their child to have help, but they don't understand that it's a process sometimes.
Yeah.
And you've got to let that child take their time. They might be a teenager, they might be 6 years old, but it's got to be in their own time, in their own process. If we rush it, it doesn't work. When we're training, so Reddy, who's over here next to me, um, friends of Amber and her and one of my other horses go out together, and they're like bonded like this. Reddy, we trained Reddy, we raised her, but it takes time and patience to let her figure things out. If you try to force it, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot with any
With
discipline too.
animals, people, everyone. It's so true.
I
And
know, it
what is,
really
just
is.
curious, what is the sleeping pattern and what is the feeding entail for a horse? How often
So,
do they get fed? When do they sleep?
so they're grazing animals. So
Mm-hmm.
when they're domesticated, I personally try to keep it as natural as possible. It's not always possible. Like at night, I give them as much hay as I think they might need through the night so that they can keep grazing. Horses really only technically sleep deep sleep for about 2 hours a day.
Wow.
That's it. I have to keep working on her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, 2 hours a day. When I put them out, I put hay. Well, in the summertime, it's not as bad because there's grass and everything, but we have to ease them onto the grass, because
Okay.
if they've been on hay all
Not
winter,
used
it
to
can
it.
cause, yeah, it can
Digestion.
cause colic.
Yeah.
So what we do in the wintertime, I don't have any run-in sheds or water. We put out water tanks and up until they freeze, and
Okay.
then I have to make sure. But I have automatic waterers in the barn, so they can drink anytime as much as they want or need. So in the wintertime, after the tubs freeze, and I don't have heated tubs, I'm kind of a little paranoid about heated tubs, only because I don't want them to get zapped in the tub and not want to drink after that. So we just make sure that they drink enough. They're out for less time, maybe 6 to 8 hours, depending on the weather.
Mm-hmm.
And I put the hay in piles spread out the paddocks so that they can graze. They can go from pile to pile, and they keep moving just like they would do in the wild, because they are constantly moving, the wild horses, and they're grazing and they're finding things that they need to eat. So, and then they have to have their feet done because, again, they're domesticated. So they have to have their hooves trimmed. None of my horses, thank God, have shoes that they have to wear. They're all got very good hooves. So every 6 to 8 weeks, their hooves get trimmed. Twice a year, I have the equine dentist, who does everything by hand, come and
Mm-hmm.
float their teeth, meaning that, some of my older guys get points the way they chew, so they have to be flattened out a little bit. And then the vet. So the vet, yes, I know. Then,
Aw.
so we have vaccinations and Coggins tests every spring, around like mid to late April, usually, early May at the latest. And then a couple times a year, they have to be dewormed. So they get worming paste, and I do that myself because it's pretty easy. They're good. They don't like the taste of it, even though it's supposed to be like mint flavored. I don't think it really is. I think medicine is medicine, no matter what you do to it. So yeah, it's an expensive project, but they're very loving and they give back what you give them. And my oldest horse was 40, going to be 41, I think. He was Morgan. Him and Knight was going to turn 30. No, excuse me. Wheaties was 34. Knight was going to turn 30. But I did know one of my friends had a horse that was 44.
Yeah.
And, it's just the way you treat them. And if you treat them right and give them as much care. I mean, genetically, sometimes we don't know a lot about some of their genetics when they come to us or about their background. So again, observing, taking time to get to know each other is really helpful. Yeah.
Well, we are out of time, and I just love being here, and I get to see you in your element and see your babies in their element, and I thank you for this. And, I can't wait to talk again, but this was great. I got to actually see it and feel it.
I know, finally.
No,
I told you I was going to try to make it work. So.
You did, and you were worried about reception. Now we had a little issue with reception. Not so bad, though, but beautiful. I love this, and hopefully I get to meet some more of them next time. Kristin, tell us how we can reach out to you, please.
You can visit the website, which is www.ReiningHopeCounselingServices.com, and my email, kris12mase@gmail.com, or call the Byron 802-895-9166.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Amber, for being such a good girl, and thank you, Mama Kristin. That's so sweet. Thank you for everything today. Stay warm. Stay cool, stay hot. I know you're going. Get back inside, but good luck. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Happy
if you're ever
New Year.
up this way, you know where to find me.
I do. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes two. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.